Robert is here. I said at the top of the show, I am a super fan of the show. It is we're lame enough to only do one thing on Friday night. And
nobody's lame that watches our show, Jeff. Come on.
Good point.
Right.
You know what I meant? It's like Friday night, and our date night is Shark Tank, and we sit on the couch, and this is what we do. We pause the show with our kids. We pause it when they first pitch you, and we say, who's in? Anybody interested? Then they pitch you a little further, and then before you guys decide, you know, how you're going to mix it up, we guess if you'll like it or if Cuban will like it.
How often are you right?
You know, it depends. You guys do tend to like certain things.
We do. We're pretty unpredictable sometimes. Sometimes you think that we're going to go for something and it's completely out of the blue. So who writes the check in your household if you buy something?
If we buy something, well, it depends which one of it. If it's the kids, we say, how much of your money would you be willing to invest?
Ooh.
But there's 6. Ada will say something like $100 million. We'll say, okay, you don't
It's like my daughter, my 14-year-old. Daddy, is he a billionaire? You know, she thinks everybody is a billionaire today. And that's part of the problem with media. You know, I think that people watch our show sometimes and they think it's really easy. But it's really hard. It's really hard.
But you remind me that in America, and this show's on in many countries, you're on the same version in Canada, it is possible. You have to work, and you do have to have an idea, but it's possible.
It's possible. And, you know, I was just talking to Mark about this. I think one of the things that scares me about America today is that success is becoming a dirty word. I make no apologies for my money. I make no apologies. Look, I make no apologies for my success. You know, my dad came here with nothing, and I came here with nothing. And I don't know.
You mean nothing?
Oh, my friend, I mean nothing. And it was really hard. And what a great country, America, Canada, that you can get to where I am today. You know, I wake up every day and I think, isn't this great? I'm as happy every day as I was the day before.
Would you be as happy if you weren't worth millions and millions of dollars?
I'm a pretty happy guy.
Yeah.
So you know, I think that's one of the keys to success. I read an article that the difference between successful people and people that struggle are successful people exude joy. Jeff, if you're not a happy guy and other people don't want to hang out with you, why would they hang out with you? If you're miserable and nobody wants to spend time with you, how are you ever going to get ahead?
Yeah, it's
why complain?
Well, and you know, I think about that a lot when you think about just the simple thing of smiling in a day, how it changes your day.
I remember when we were really young, this lesson was taught to me by my dad, and I kind of had a miserable day at school because, you know, the kids make fun of you, you're an immigrant, you're poor. And I came home and I was feeling sorry for myself, and my dad came home. It's going to sound so melodramatic. He walked a couple of miles to the factory. He was a blue-collar guy, and I came home and he just stood there, and I was complaining about my day.
Where were you living?
Oh, we were living in like this stage would be 3 times the size in a little apartment.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, it wasn't pleasant. And my dad was just standing there, and I was complaining and feeling sorry for myself. And my dad looks at me and says, never complain. You should always be happy with the opportunities given you. And that was it. And so you feel that big.
All right, we have a lot to talk about, including the arguments that they get into on the show, whether or not they're real, because many times they are battling to buy into something like this, recyclable
Keep your socks on. Keep your socks on.
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back with more.
You know, it's funny, when I was growing up, everybody said that to me. It's not what you know, it's who you know.
Is that true? Investor and Shark from the show Shark Tank. Am I saying your last name right? Herjavec?
You know, the proper pronunciation, you'll be the only guy to ever hear this on TV, is actually Herjavec. But my dad came to the customs agent, and the guy said, what's your name? My dad said, Herjavec. And the guy looked at him and said, nobody will ever be able to say that. From now on, your name is Herjavec.
Really?
And that was it.
And your heritage was shifted a little right there.
Just a little bit. But yes, you're saying it right.
Okay, so on this show, there's 5 of you sitting there, and you all...
What? There's 4 other people on that show?
And you all have this money and experience, enough that you could invest if you wanted to. So a guy comes up or a girl, and they pitch their product. Sometimes it appears to get very heated.
It does, and what most people don't realize, and I'll tell your audience, is most people are in front of us for over an hour.
Really? Because it's 5 minutes on the show.
It's 5 minutes on the show, and we know nothing about them. We don't know their name. We don't know how much money they want. We don't know anything.
That surprises me. I would figure you at least had a little bit of a note about something.
No, it's real. It's real. And yes, it's really our money. None of my friends believe it's really our money and we know nothing about them. But when we're writing those checks, it's really our money.
And so, okay, I'm guessing...
So the problem is, the guy comes out, and not all of them make a lot of money, but every now and then, some make a lot of money. We had a guy last season come out, Chord Buddy.
I remember it, for the guitar.
And he came out for the guitar, teach you how to play guitar in 5 minutes. It's fantastic. So before he came on the show, the product cost $39.95. Him and his wife, at their kitchen table, were selling 2 to 3 on a good day. 9 months later, our sales are approaching $2 million. We bought a factory in Alabama. We employ 20 people now.
That is...
Oh, yeah. And we just hired John Rich from Big and Rich to represent the product. So that one erases a lot of ones that don't make money.
Is there any part of this that Mark Cuban was on this show, and he said, you know, part of it, honestly,
Jeff, I'm not the first shark to be on your show.
Well, no.
I'm okay. All right.
But only because he's friends with one of the CBS executives.
It's not what you know, it's who you know.
It's who you know.
Yeah, there you go.
But we didn't talk this much about Shark Tank. We just talked about, you know, he wasn't on near as long as you either.
Okay,
You're the only guest.
You know, it's funny, when I was growing up, everybody said that to me. It's not what you know, it's who you know.
Is that true?
So there I am. I'm 18 years old. My dad works in a factory sweeping floors, and my mom's a receptionist. So if the key to success in life is who you know, I'm in trouble. So I said to myself, I don't believe that. I believe I got to go out and become the guy that others want to get to know. It's all about what you make of it.
Well, one of the things that Cuban said to me, it might have been on the show or off the show, is that part of this for you guys is a little bit of philanthropy, in that if there's somebody you believe in and you're not sure, and the investment isn't a lot, that you might take a flyer just to say, you need a shot and I can give you one.
I love that. I love that about our show, that we can change lives for people. So absolutely, for me, I can't disassociate myself away from the investor. I mean, some of the guys like Kevin or Mark can be pretty cruel and cold about it, but I can't. And I love the fact we do that for people. We had a woman in the first season called Grill Charms, and we did an investment there, and it changed her entire life.
Really?
I mean, it's wonderful. But
what's the percentage?
It's about the money.
What's the percentage of every 10 that you invest in, how many of those might...
So it's a great question. Everybody's different. When I invest, I expect to get my money back. So I'm pretty involved with entrepreneurs. Like when Chord Buddy went to Canada to do the shopping channel in QVC, I went with him. Like, I worked really, really hard for my money. When I give it to somebody, I expect to get it back.
All right, when we come back, we're going to see what Robert thinks of some entrepreneurs that we have here in our studio, and maybe we'll be able to go in on something together. Or we'll say, in the words of Shark Tank, for that reason, I'm out.
Well, I'm happy to write your check.
Oh, you're not, you may not invest at all. We'll see. We'll be right back.